Our next speaker is going to be Dr. Tirone David from Toronto, Canada. He's going to talk about tricuspid repair during concomitant degenerative mitral valve repair. When is it necessary and when is it not necessary? Thank you, Dr. David.
Thank you, Mark. Prazer estar aqui novamente com vocês. The whole session this morning was controversy. So you heard 4 or 5 controversial talks. This is no exception. It's going to be controversial as well. I've been in practice for 40 years now in July, will be. And from the beginning, I focused my career in heart valve disease and thoracic aneurysms. And I never thought very much about the tricuspid valve. If the patient had right side failure at the time of mitral or mitral valve surgery, I would put a ring or replace the tricuspid valve. And I always thought that was a complicated operation because those patients do not do very well. And they don't, still today. If you follow guidelines, and I don't want to bore you with guidelines, but if a patient has severe tricuspid regurgitation at the time of a left side heart valve operation or coronary bypass, you should repair the tricuspid valve or replace it. Yeah. Severe. Moderate, nobody knows what to do. Then God knows, and only God knows, because no surgeon knows yet, a number came up in the literature. If the tricuspid annulus is 40 millimeters or larger, forget about the regurgitation, you should repair the tricuspid valve. Well, there is no scientific basis for this whatsoever. Nobody knows where it came from. Dr. Dreyfus from France published that when he repaired the tricuspid valve, and he always does to the right atrium, for years from the beginning that he started practicing, he opened the right atrium, opened the septum, so he sees the tricuspid valve. And Dreyfus about my size, maybe just slightly shorter, but if 3 of his fingers went through, he repaired the tricuspid valve. And that's said to me by him. So he measured his 3 fingers, was 7 centimeters. Yeah, but the heart is in diastole. And he published this in 2005. And somehow, from 3 fingers from Dr. Dreyfus, 7 centimeters, a 40 millimeter appeared in the literature. Well, again, I don't want to bore you. I agitated so much of this stuff 5 years ago that Antunes got together with the European colleagues. I thought Volkmar was part of this, rewrote the guidelines again, but didn't change anything. The bloody 40 millimeter is still there, or 21 millimeter per meter square. If you follow these guidelines, and Dave Adams in New York followed, and this is the paper that prompted my interest in this valve, 65% of the mitral valve repair for prolapse requires tricuspid annuloplasty. That's 2/3 of the patients. You can imagine a person, I'm supposed to be the Mr. Mitral valve repair surgeon in Canada. I've been doing repair for 35 years when this paper was published. Somebody tells me that I'm doing the wrong operation in 2/3 of my patients. I was horrified. And I came home and I took a look at my 2 previous publications on longitudinal outcomes. Canadian healthcare system, as you know, is socialized. And there is no BS. There is no, you follow the patients. If you don't follow the patient, you can get an echo, because there's one insurance only. So every time a patient has an echo, you can access the echo. So our patients, most of them, unless they leave Canada, and many of them do, they come make money, go back to India, to God knows where, China. In those patients, we lose follow-up. But those who stay within the healthcare system, you can see very easily longitudinal outcomes. My annuloplasty rate was 3.7%. And then in a second paper that I published on longitudinal outcomes, it doubled. And I was puzzled by that. Something happened to me as well. Why 20 years apart, I doubled? And I doubled intuitively because of one paper. Tricuspid regurgitation after mitral valve repair is a rare event. Thousands of patients have done, maybe a dozen times in my career I had to repair the tricuspid valve because of right side failure. But the number doubled, and doubled largely because of Dreyfus' publication. He published this, and I was intrigued, and I know Dr. Dreyfus for many years, and he doesn't cut a piece of ruler and measure. He put his finger inside or eyeball, and if it's dilated, he repaired the tricuspid valve. Well, I took a look at this more seriously, and we took a look at 337 consecutive patients had mitral valve repair, echo before and after, echo every year, and 25 of them had annuloplasty at the time the operation were excluded. We had 312 left over. 18% had atrial fibrillation. Most patients had minimal symptomatic, and 18 of them had moderate TR. Now, don't ask me to argue what's mild, trace, or moderate. This is based on echocardiographic report. Echocardiography in Canada, you can only sign a report if you are a certified echocardiographer. So the source is relatively reliable. It's not the guy in the corner, a family doctor doing an echo. This is a certified cardiologist, a guy who passed the boards. Now, you say, I don't believe him. That's fine. If you don't believe him, I cannot argue anymore. But that's how my data come from. And that's the argument Dreyfus gave me when I present this paper. Your cardiologists don't know how to read the echo. It's possible they don't know, and he does. Dr. Dreyfus does know. But my cardiologists, who are certified cardiologists, don't know. BSMA, 18 patients had moderate TR, and I left alone because no symptoms. 10 years later, only 6% of the patients develop moderate TR. Yeah, but 4% had already. So new TR is very unusual. And how about the patient had annulus bigger than 40 millimeters? Preoperatively bigger than 40 millimeters, regardless of the TR? 6%. And how about those hairs smaller than 40 millimeters? 6%. It makes no difference. What made the difference, however, was if the patient had a pre-existing moderate TR, 10 years later, they had moderate TR or severe TR. If they're older, 70, 80, 90-year-old, more likely to develop TR. As a matter of fact, we all develop TR as we get older. Do echo in an 80-year-old with no heart disease. 20% has moderate TR. It's an age process of the right ventricle, I learned. Only past 5 years knowledge. And women seem to have at least 4 times more than men TR. We don't know why. Conclusion was 40 millimeter is not the number you should be using. But what's the number then? Well, I don't know the number. I don't claim to have the answer. As a matter of fact, Sordelli, a cardiologist from Otavio, published about the same time a similar paper in the American Journal of Cardiology. She reviewed 706 patients who had mitral valve repair, and newly developed significant TR was a rare event, and the tricuspid annulus size had no correlation with the development of TR. Well, we have a paper now under review in JACC, 30 years outcome of mitral valve repair. Single surgeon, single experience. So we stopped the follow-up 10 years ago to have enough patients at risk at 20 and 25 years, all with echocardiography every year. TR is a problem, unrelated of recurrent or failure of the mitral valve repair. 25 years later, we had a 25% of the patients moderate and 2% severe TR. Why do human beings develop moderate TR? Don't know. But this is factual. This is numbers that we got from sequential follow-up. This sketch, the original person that published this was Alain Carpentier, that the right ventricle dilates. First, the angle between the anterior wall and the diaphragmatic wall loses its sharp angle, becomes rounded. And because the RV dilates, because of TR, the tricuspid end becomes secondarily dilated as well. This is the most important paper I found in the literature to explain TR. And for the past 2 years now, that is what we do in Toronto to indicate tricuspid annuloplasty. We measure the systolic and diastolic size of the free wall of the right ventricle, mid-ventricular wall. If it's 30 millimeter or more, 100% of the patients so far develop severe TR postoperatively or moderate. If it's less than 30, and if you have to adjust the body surface area, 30 for the average, 1.8, 1.9. Is the right ventricle by far dilates before the tricuspid dilates. Tricuspid dilatation likely is a secondary late event or possibly totally unrelated to tricuspid regurgitation. Might be related more to the size of the leaflets than anything else. I don't know when tricuspid valve should be repaired at the time of mitral valve repair. Certainly not 40 millimeters. But the patient has severe or moderate, I think it's foolish to leave alone. Now you say, what's moderate? Well, I don't know what's moderate. My cardiologists tell me they measure 3 or 4 times and say, this is moderate TR, it's not mild. Patient dilated right ventricle, 30 millimeter or more, doesn't matter if they have TR or not. And these are the people who usually develop pulmonary hypertension and the RV begin to fail. Their free wall dilates. I contact Dr. Kim from, so he happened to be a cardiologist. He works with a former trainee, and they use only this number now. They're going to be published soon because you have 10 years results on a distance of the mid-ventricular wall of the right ventricle. Of course, if the end is 40 millimeter and the patient has fibroelastic deficiency, very small leaflets, likely a dilated right side. If it's a Barlow's, it's normal. Patients with Barlow's have huge leaflets. I think 75, 85, 90-year-old patients, women in chronic atrial fibrillation, you should always do a tricuspid annuloplasty, particularly the time of the maze. I'm sorry it's controversial. I could not enlighten you very much on tricuspid valve repair, but I don't think anybody can. It can be very simplistic to say, repair them all. Well, you might do that. I think that's an overkill. Thank you.